right, we will get started. Thank everyone for coming. So I wanted to get together. Actually, Sam had asked me. I did some customer service training with the sales team a while back, and found it really helped us just to kind of stay focused, maybe reset on some things we might have gotten away with. So it's also nice just to get all the team together, share, get some feedback, maybe hear some of your guys' challenges, whatnot, and then kind of streamline some things that maybe we can level up on and talk about. So trying to have you out of here in a respectful amount of time, 30-40 minutes, somewhere like that. It won't be like an hour and a half training session. It'll be just high level, quick, and try and get to the points quick. So you know, one of the things that's happened, we've had a great year. You know, we're actually up in a lot of things. The margins are up. People are paying a little bit more for services. They're paying more for their cars. I'm sure you guys, when you go to buy stuff, see that no one's afraid to ask right now for all the money, no matter what there is, if they're, you know, any type of products. Kind of what I wanted to stress is that people are comfortable with that as long as they get the value proposition, right? So it's all about value for what you're getting. And so if you're going to charge someone something, they need to see the value. They need to see what that value proposition is. And sometimes we do this every day, and we can get away from actually seeing it from their point of view. Did we give them good value on everything that happened through, you know, when they started and whatnot? So I'll kind of just go around the room and maybe talk to everyone a little bit. Ethan, do you remember when your last vacation was?
September last year, I think.
Okay. What happened before the vacation? What did you do when you decided you were going on a vacation?
Went to the HR manager and.
No, I don't mean with business. I meant just in your head. What did you?
We go over, plan out what you can do with your time the best, whether or not it's visiting your family or what's going to make you kind of happy and refreshed.
Yeah. Did a little research, did a little plan.
Yeah.
Then when you went on where'd you end up going?
I just went back home to visit my family.
Okay.
It was my first year away from them. So
Nice. So did a little bit at the start, made sure, planned your flights, planned your travel, planned everything. Probably decided what you were going to do while you were there. Then you had the experience while you were there. And then afterwards you probably had some type of memories, maybe some pictures and some things, right?
Hit up
Yeah, so what happens a lot with customer experiences when we're talking about that is we think it's just that interaction of the short time that we're with the person, but it's kind of like the vacation where it actually starts before, right? So their whole experience started before they got here. So they probably did some research or did some thinking about why they were coming in for their services. Then it was the interaction they had with everybody on our team, and then it was what happened after. Sometimes we only focus on that short little part. Maybe it was before we focus more on, maybe it was during, but we kind of have to, for it to really, to hit home, we kind of have to really make sure that we're focused on all three things. Just kind of like that vacation, for us to really get the quality and that value proposition, where I'm going to be using that word a lot, on what to maximize their experience. I'll tell you a little story. I went on the fishing trip lately. Who's anybody in this room been on a fishing trip with me? No? Not yet? Okay, you guys are all online. Eric missed out.
Twice.
Yeah. But basically what we do is, for all the employees, we have the woman trip and then we have the guys trip. But the guys usually get to, after between 2 and 3 years, depending on how it falls, on who's ever up first, get to come fishing with us. And so we've done it 10 years in a row where we take people fishing and the women get to go to the Sparkling Hills Spa on a women's trip. But the guys trip we just came back from, and what we did, Jordan did a really good job of planning and researching, and this time we thought we'd get a little bit higher end trip, so we went to this one that was a 5-star, and they had all sort of the amenities that we wanted. They had the fire pit, they had the really cool lodge, the nicer boats, this and that, and it was just, we were really pumped about it. We brought 20 people this last trip, so and we got to the airport and then they ended up, helicopter ride into this secluded place, which was really cool. So we've had a lot of different fishing experiences before, but in this particular trip, we were pretty excited. We'd seen all the things. And then when we got to the lodge, what happened was they kind of said, hey, go do this and pick out your rain gear and then head to the lodge. And then we head to the lodge, there wasn't really anyone there to greet us. So I'm kind of like, geez, I wasn't used to that because I went to some other lodges and these guys know by my name. They called me ahead of time. You know, they're pulling out the red carpet when I walk in. Like I'm bringing 20 people. It's an expensive trip, right? It's like $100K. So like I wanted a bit of a, you know. And so what happened is we got up. Some employee that hadn't been there for a long time. She was really pleasant, really nice. She had good energy and happy. But we looked up at the rooms, and none of the rooms were with the people that we wanted. So what we do in these team bonding is we put people in certain rooms, and it's kind of thought out like who's going to be who's going to be good with this, which people, and maybe someone that's been with me longer is with this person, and someone in the same departments might be together. So we really do a good job of thinking about who's going to be good for this team bonding experience. And it was all scrambled. I was with someone that I didn't want to be with, and Jordan and I usually stay together and stuff like that, right? And I was like, what? He said, you guys get emails. So when I said, hey, she goes, well, what difference does it make? We already sent all the bags to those rooms. So the difference is that's not what I wanted, right? I wanted this list right here and these people to be together. So she said, okay, we'll fix that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. Then I look over at the boats, and the exact same thing happened with the boats. Nobody was with who they wanted to. So we have groups of 3. They were all supposed to be with certain people. And we had a design that would be a good experience, how we thought, as we got to know them. We know our team. But same thing. So I literally had to go out myself and change the guides with the right boats and everything like that. So not the greatest first impression, not the greatest experience, right? The whole trip, I never did meet the manager. He never came up to me and said, hey, how's everything going? He never, and I still haven't got a call from him after I left. And so my point in this is like, they did a lot of things well. They had this huge fire pit where we could all sit down and have cocktails and do things. They had a great games room, which was great for the team. They had, these magnificent boats. But what do you think I remember? I remember the stuff that they didn't get right. They didn't get what my wants and needs were. And so my point in this is when we're talking to the customers, we really want to make sure that we know what their wants and needs are. And that we make sure that so that before becomes really important to the team. So we got to know what they want before they get there, and then make sure we execute when they are with us, right? So we can really lose sight of it. We can sometimes focus on what we want and what we think is supposed to happen. But we got to kind of put ourselves in the other person's shoes sometimes, right? So that was a big experience for us, and then obviously Jordan will say we decided not to go back there next year. We're going to check something else out. So it was a big thing when you're just here. So I kind of wanted to just ask you guys and kind of go around the room real quick, based on that sort of story. When we're talking about our business and our service business, what do we think is the most important to our customer and our guests? The one thing that the Fishing Lodge did really well, they called everybody their guest. Like the guest wants this food. The guest has a dietary thing. The guest, can we pick this guest up? Can we do this? The guest. And I thought to myself, wow, that would be pretty cool in our business. And we started using the word guest, started treating them like they were a guest. It's kind of just a little thing that happened. So when I go around the room, and we define it now to the business that, we're basically giving people, we're in the customer service business. That's what we are. We're in the business of servicing them in parts and service. So when they're driving here, when they're calling us, I'd like you guys to kind of share with me what you guys think, not what I think. What do you think are the most important things they want in their experience? So we'll start off with you, Cassandra. What stands out for you? What would be a really important thing?
A smile.
Yeah. Okay. Very important. Okay. Nice. Wiley?
if they're having a problem with something, make the problem go away.
So
That's really what they want, is problem solving.
resolve. Okay. Yourself?
Where to go, because I've had customers ask me where service is,
Okay.
and some parts guys ask me where the loading places all that are.
Okay. They want convenience, right?
Convenience.
Where to find everything. Okay. And easiness, right? When it becomes hard to find things. Just gonna get to help me. Jordan, do you mind breaking it down for me? You got anything ready?
Yeah, do it.
Okay. Who else? Ethan?
Say, if it's the very first time getting to know them, build a rapport with them, remember their needs for next time, and make them feel important, like
Okay.
right off the bat, first time around.
Make them feel important. Okay. Yourself?
I think you want to be straight to the point.
Straight to the point?
Satisfaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me?
Probably.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Remember them.
Yourself?
Acknowledge their concern.
Acknowledge the concern. A word might be empathy, right?
Yeah.
That kind of ties into that. Yourself?
Just be engaging with them,
Okay.
not being distracted by
Yeah.
50 other things.
Engagement. So when you're 100% focused on giving them that, that's really important. Sam?
For me, it's listen. Every time I talk to people, it's usually after the fact. They just want to be heard, so they don't want us to interrupt them. They just want us to listen
Yeah.
to them from the back.
Nice. Chris?
Make sure they're getting the right information.
Okay. Yourself?
Just to keep them updated.
Okay.
on everything going on.
Communication,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. An overview at the end too. It's nice.
Okay, those are some pretty good ones. I just want to see what I had written down here, some couple here, just to see if you guys hit on all of them. So I just wrote the big ones were empathy was a big one, time. I think people's time is really important to them nowadays, right? So like, if we don't respect their time, that could become an issue. Communication. That's a big one, right? So sometimes it doesn't matter if we can't execute on our promises, but if we don't communicate, where we're at on that, then that's when they don't like it, is if we don't let them know, right? And then I just put, like Sandra said, the smile and the energy and the happiness, right? So, which is a big one, right? So, yeah. Now, have any of you guys went to, any of you guys have a favorite restaurant that you like to go to in Kelowna? Sandra? No? No?
I mean, I went to Cactus Club for the first time a week ago with my parents, so that was awesome.
Eric, do you have a restaurant that you keep going back to?
Oh yeah.
Which one?
Phoenix Steakhouse in Brent.
Okay, why do you go there?
I really like the atmosphere and every time they come in, it's good service.
Right. So there's something that the reason why you go back there is that they probably have good food, right? They like the big food, and it has to do with the people too, right?
Yeah.
Like when Trina and I actually right now we eat out a lot, and we like to do that just because I work a lot and whatnot. So, but we get a lot of different experiences at different restaurants. We have a few that we like to go to, but she has some dietary concerns, right? So she's vegan and gluten-free, and as well certain vegetables and stuff that you can't eat that doesn't agree with your stomach, right? So what happens is we go to a restaurant. Sometimes she has to phone first and find out if they can accommodate, and then when we're there, it's really important. And sometimes we'll be at a restaurant and it's one of our favorites, and the server will come out, they'll be really pleasantly happy, and Trina will tell them what the thing, they'll be very empathetic, say, no problem, I'll talk to the chef and I'll find something that, we'll find something that he can make up for you. The chef comes out and says, you know what, we're gonna whip it up, we're gonna do a cauliflower steak or something, we're not only we're gonna put this type of stuff on it, we're gonna do that, and then she just seeing Katrina kind of light up, she's like, oh, you guys will do that for me, and it's a really good experience. And then the exact same restaurant, we get a different server, and they'll be like, well, no, that's not really on the menu. They use canola oil, so I don't think the chef's gonna be able to work with it. Like, it'll go from like, and it could be the exact same restaurant, but just one server really being apathetic and wanting to solve the person's problem, where another server is kind of just focused on her job. Hey, this is a textbook. I'm in this box, and you know what? You've asked me to do something that doesn't fit the box. So, you know, we got to be conscious of that. Can really make the difference of long-term customers, right? And not only that, giving them the experience that we want, right? So, you know, all the things you guys have said, I guess I want to go around the room, and when you look at those 5 or 6 things, how do you think we're doing right now? So we'll start off with Kia in service. How do you think we're doing, Eric? Come down. If you had to pick 1 or 2 of those that you think that should be the biggest improvements.
I'll probably say convenience right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Just text and time per job is not optimal right now. Just
So
is what it is. But
we can't get it in quick enough, and
Yeah.
we don't have enough text to.
so that just kind of dominoes effects.
Okay, so that's a huge challenge, right?
Yeah.
Eric, what would you say yours is?
I would 100% agree with that
Okay.
right now.
So here's what happens on those ones, and I know we had one a while back with Kona Hyundai where someone had bought a vehicle off us, and they had bought 3 or 4 off us, and their engine light went on, and they wanted us to check it. We could get it for 3 weeks, right? That would be the standard. We're not going to be able to get it. We're just too busy. We don't have enough techs. And I guess what I challenge you guys is that, if someone's engine is on, we've got to try to find a way to at least check it and find out, is it drivable or is it not drivable? And that's why we have the shop foremans. They're getting paid a premium to be able to take off the job and go look at it and at least do a quick diagnostic to see whatever. And sometimes we lose sight of it and we're like, oh, well, he's got too much stuff. And I think sometimes we got to find a way on some of these things to not tell a customer that they can't get it for 3 weeks. We just have to find a way, because that's where that box comes in. Like, it's easy to say no. It's easy to say 3 weeks. It's a lot harder to say, you know what, we're really busy. Maybe even grab Wiley, maybe even grab the tech and actually get them to talk to the customer and say, what's it exactly doing? And then find out if we have to bring it in right away, and then trying to find out, is this drivable or is this not drivable, and kind of do the solution. And kind of get the example I like to use, guys, is I like to tell this story a lot. Is who here has a pet? What's your pet?
Cat and a dog.
What's your dog's name?
Teddy.
Teddy?
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of dog?
It's like a burpy toy poodle.
Okay. So Teddy Teddy has a bad cough, very bad cough, and he is not getting up. He's just kind of laying and not moving around. And you want to take it to your vet, right? And you call into your vet and you say to your vet, hey, Teddy's coughing and he hasn't got out of bed now for like 3 days. What should I do? And the receptionist or the person that we were talking to says, we're booked out 3 weeks. How does that make you feel?
Pretty intense, yeah.
Would it?
Yeah.
What would happen?
I'd be upset.
Like what kind of emotions would you?
So that'd be something you can do.
Anger.
So what do you think the emotions would be?
Just mostly frustration.
Right.
Helplessness,
Okay. Now let's just say they said to you, and I want to give this other one because it ties into one of our other processes. Let's just say, you know what, we're very busy. We'll try and get you in. If you come in between 1:30 and 2, we're going to try and have a quick peek at it. Okay. Quick peek at Teddy. Ted, so you find a way, right? You get down there, right?
Of course, yeah.
And you go down there. And they said, okay, leave Teddy with us for a couple hours, right? Okay, you leave him with them. And so that was at 1:30. And then at 3:30, they said they would call you. And 3:30 they didn't call. And then 4:30 they didn't call. And then 5:30 they didn't call. What do you think happened during those 3 hours?
Nothing good.
No, like, but what do you think happened to you?
Oh, it's
what,
forgot
what
about.
kind of emotions did you go through?
I feel more frustrated, anxious.
Why?
That's my dog.
Right. When people don't know what to expect, what are they going to expect? The worst. So that's where the updates come in. When people don't know what to expect, they will always expect the worst. And if you guys can write one thing down, there was 2 things I wanted to write down. Well, and Sandra already said one of them. But the first one is manage your customers' emotions. Manage your customers' emotions. You have to figure out what their emotion is and try and manage it. So if our customers have anxiety because Teddy isn't breathing, and I know I'm using a pet here, but the reality is some of our customers think their automobile is their baby. They really like it. And so if we give them the wrong answer, if I say to Teddy, Teddy's not important, we can't see you for 3 weeks, that might not be a good answer for me to tell him. If I really want him, so how I tell him, and I gotta be empathetic, I gotta say, hey, listen, we're very busy right now. Can you go through a little bit more how he's feeling? Let me call you back. Let me get someone, a specialist right now, and tell him what's happening. So I guess I challenge you sometimes because when I see some of the scores and that we can't get people in for 3 weeks, I think we gotta try and figure out a way as a management team to at least get them in and talk to them and maybe present that different. What's your guys' feedback at Kelowna Hyundai on that part of it? 6 weeks in.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
So how are we going to do the engine when the engines or lights are on? How are we going to get people in? Because we can't tell them like 6 weeks out.
No, with those ones, we usually try to tell them to come by and see us, usually about 3 o'clock, because we slow
Okay.
down at that time. So we try to get
Okay.
those customers
Yeah.
in to at least just scan it, see
Yeah.
what's going on.
Okay, good.
But obviously, we can't fix it for them at that point in time.
No, I'm not asking to fix it. I'm just asking you to consult and
Their expectations is that you're gonna fix it for them that day.
yeah. So the thing about managing customers' emotions is sometimes we're not going to be able to solve the problem on the same day. But if we communicate properly and make sure they understand the dilemma, which is like, hey, we have some other people like Teddy that have the same problem that are just as important to us as you. However, I'd like to at least diagnostic, see what it's going to need, and get that ball rolling, and we'll determine how bad it is. That type of thing, right? So I think we can do a better job of that on the communication part of it. Because when I look at some of the scores, it's sometimes when I just read it, it's like it became like the box. It's like, and I don't know who it was, and I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying like it's 3 weeks, it's 6 weeks, it's 5 weeks, and I would challenge everybody that we gotta find a way to communicate with the customers so they're doing the empathy, that they hear the empathy, right? So, Jordan, any comments on that?
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What are some other challenges? When you look at those last the parts department at Kia, how do you guys? What is the 1 or 2 things that you guys think that from the parts side of it at Kia maybe we could execute better when you look at that list up there?
It's a double-edged sword because with the back orders, I mean, you're trying to communicate with them and you're trying to make it convenient for them, but there's almost like a trust issue because you're telling them that it's a back order and there's nothing you can do, but they keep thinking that there's something you can do. So you're trying to fight with those 2 things, and that's probably for body shops and customers for both ends of the spectrum. It's tough. So.
Chris, what's one thing do you think that you could say, hey, I'll take this on, we gotta do a better job on one of those things up there?
you kind of nailed it on the head. I mean, convenience is a big thing, is being able to get things and get things out. The biggest thing is we're piling up on things right now, which either get installed or.
Okay, cool. Wiley, what about Kelowna Hyundai parts? What's your assessment when you look at it from the overview?
I think one of the areas of opportunity at any store all the time, especially, and it has come to light because we're training somebody new, and we've got, like a Hirashi kind of thing is going to be spending some time up front, and there's going to be that whole training curve. One of the things that I always keep kind of come back to when it comes to knowledge is to teach everybody your fallback position is, if you don't know something, I don't know, but I'm going to find out and get back to you. And that way it takes the stress off, because sometimes you see people that don't know something, customers asking them something, and you can see that they're kind of getting, part of them wants to just make something up, which is never a good idea. And rather than just, if they know that's their fallback position, I don't know, but I'm going to find out and get back to you, it seems to take the stress off people when they're training, and they can go, no matter what they ask me, if I don't know the answer, I'm going to be able to use that lifeline and take the pressure off. And then we're going to take the time to find out from somebody that knows, maybe talk to 2 people, and we're going to get back to them with the right answer. And then we're all on the same page. So that's been valuable. There's always room for opportunity for that.
Yeah, the other thing of value is the fact that we're picking up the phones in our parts department versus the other key is.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we've taken in like 6 or 7 body shops in the last month.
Nice convenience. Right.
So
Answering their
there's
phone,
positive.
how important that is, right?
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's definitely huge.
Kelowna Hyundai service, when you look at that list, what are some things that kind of stand out that you think we could challenge ourselves to maybe execute at a higher level?
Communication.
Can I add something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially on the communication, you gotta be your best pal with your service. Like what I found starting today was on any work order, any parts whatever that we receive, I private message the service advisor that's in charge of that work order to let them,
Yeah.
hey, parts are here, go up to you too.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
You gotta
that's
be the
good.
best pal. So I just started today.
That's definitely a great idea. Guys, look at you wearing your name tag now. I'm excited.
Still up to
Right?
I agree with communication. Like I said,
Yeah.
can't get, it's this time to go in.
Yeah.
Just convenience, but.
Right. Sometimes we get busy, right? And we have really good intentions to update the customer, and then we get sidetracked and then we don't. What I used to tell Sam and some of these other guys is set reminders on your phone, set reminders on your Outlook, set reminders on your computer where something dings and said update customers. And all of a sudden, oh yeah, it's 1 o'clock. We got to update all our customers. Okay. And I'll give you an example. The airport right now does a great job of kind of communicating in their way. I fly a lot, and one thing that they do well, they don't do a lot of things well, but the one thing they do well now is I got a reminder the day before that said, this is when your flight is, please make sure you bring everything. And it's the one place you still need a mask, so they said on there, don't forget your mask. And then an hour or 2 hours before check-in, hey, you're about to check in, make sure you have the stuff. And I thought to myself, wow, that's a pretty cool reminder. And I thought to myself, how could we start giving out better reminders, like little pleasant reminders? Hey, in service, don't forget to bring this. So I know Sam's gonna do some stuff. I've asked Perry to do some more automation on some of the appointments. So hey, your appointment's coming up, at all the stores, so that we have a list, bring this, bring that. But it's a little thing that sometimes we get away from, and communication is key now, right? People want to hear, and that simple text sometimes. I try and train this all the time that sometimes when you don't have good news, you don't think that you should update the customer like, hey, didn't get in the shop when you're supposed to. So I don't want to let the customer know, right? I don't want to tell them the bad news that it's running 3 hours behind, but it's actually the opposite. Most people respect the stuff. A simple text saying, hey, we ran into some snags. They understand. It's not always their problem. We ran into some business issues today. We're running either later today or it's actually not going to be managed until tomorrow. Apologize for any inconvenience. Hope you're having a great day. Please feel free to call or message us. that message right there will go a lot further if we're not executing a promise time than no message. The no message kind of, because it was what he said, what happened with him is we let his emotions get to anxiety before we updated him. We let him get edgy. We let him, the vet let him get a little bit, what's going on with Teddy, right? And before we use an example, that's your dog's name, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if we would have said, hey, I'm still looking after it, we haven't got back yet, or we haven't solved it yet, it's gonna take his stress off. So that's, the update is the most important thing, guys. If we can take anything out of what we gotta do better, it's the communication. I think we'll be a lot good about it. Because the Ready and Run Promise score will be way lower if the update. They go hand in hand. If you update at a really high level, you will get a Ready Win Promise score. Whether you believe me or not, you will. Because they're gonna look at the update. Now, the promise time changed because they got an update. But if you don't give them the update, then they're still gonna think about the first one, right? So that's where the big thing. So guys, I wanna end with two things. Kind of time frame, just like I said, about 30 minutes. So, has anyone seen the movie Top Gun? You have? Yeah, the new one, Maverick. You have? What did you think of the movie?
Of course, I haven't watched it in a while.
Please don't ruin it for us.
We're not gonna give you, we're not gonna give any spoiler movies. But anyone who's seen the movie says it was awesome. And it was absolutely one of the best movies I've seen.
I watched this movie and this was a good movie.
Right, so we're
March
gonna, we're gonna play a clip there in a minute. My point of the Top Gun movie is, most people say it was awesome, and then they follow up right after and say, no, they say, you gotta go see it. Not, hey, it's a good movie, you should go see it. You have to go see it, Ethan. You have to go see it. And my point is, when you exceed something, and you exceed someone's experience, the referral that you get is you have to go do it. So our goal as a team for customer service is that when someone leaves here, that you have to go see Ryan, you have to go see Raquel, you have to go see Eric. They looked after me, they gave me this great experience. And that's, when I asked you guys to for two things, manage the customer's emotions, which really, what emotion are we looking for? Ethan?
Well, just to mask the frustration and make them happy when they leave.
Happy. That's the word. Your goal is to make them happier when they came in, when they leave, than they were when they came in. I'll repeat that. Your goal with customer experience is that when they leave the dealership, they are happier when they came in. The other thing I wanted you to write down is give them a pleasant surprise. What does a pleasant surprise mean? What's something we can do to give them a pleasant surprise? Does anyone have any ideas? Eric?
I would say, would you like a complimentary wash and surprise them with the inside of the vehicle or something?
Yes. For the sales guys, I said, hey, listen, what if you knew what your customer was drinking for coffee? It's just a little thing. But I said, you have this appointment, and you knew that your customer liked one green. We have the fancy coffee machine, and then when the salesman came up, the customer came out to look at the new car, they walked out and said, hey, here's that coffee that we wanted. Let's go down and sit down and chat about your new car. To me, that would be a pleasant surprise because they took the time to find out what I like for a coffee. Everyone likes to get caffeinated. Now that's just one little example, but the point of it is trying to get to know our customers enough that we can pleasantly surprise them. What's going on in their day that maybe we could give them a convenience, maybe that we could do something for them, right? And that's just, I went to a restaurant recently with Brandon in Victoria, and it's called the Boom and Bath, and we went, and there's 4 of us, and the server came out, and Brandon said to him, hey, do you have the tomahawk steak? I said, no, it's not on the menu. He said, oh, I had it here a while ago. Yeah, that was a special. Oh, darn, we're hoping to get that. Anyway, she came back about 5 minutes later and said, I just took it to the chef. And the chef says he has a couple tomahawks. So Brandon said, hey, can you cut them up? We'll spice them up, everything. So there was 4 of us, and they came out. And the chef came and said, hey, we'll do up some spices, whatever. And about 20 minutes later, they came and brought this big plate to the table and said, hey, here's your tomahawk. And there was 4 of us. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's pretty bad. I was surprised, right? Anyway, as I was paying the bill, and the one point on this is I did not know what they were going to charge me. And they knew that I didn't know what they were going to charge me, so you can imagine my surprise when I see the bill. They weren't shy, but they gave me a pleasantly surprise. They gave me this premium of something that was off menu. They gave me an off menu experience. And because of that, I was okay paying a premium. Now, they did charge me more than I thought, but okay, what are you gonna do? I got experience. Well, as I was paying the bill, I noticed them bringing out another one for someone else behind us. Now, what happened was someone else seen what we got. They seen the experience. And they said, we want what they're having. And they ordered some more from them. So now another person got it. But the key to the story is that when you give someone a really different, pleasantly surprised experience, chances are someone else is going to want the same thing, and it builds and it builds. So, you know, when you're dealing with service customers or parts customers or body shops, you got to sometimes find what the other person that you're talking to's button is and try and give them a pleasantly surprised. It can be a smile, it can be walk them out to the car. But that energy is just so important, right? And making someone more happier than when they left is a real challenge in customer service, but you guys can do it with a smile, you guys can do it making customers happy, and I get where your challenges are. We're short techs and don't have enough people, and we got a lot of cars coming in for the same thing. It's hard to max, but focus on what you can control, and that's your energy. Now, the last thing I'm going to say about energy is it's like a movie and a property set. We talked about top. Do you know, Ryan, you know what a movie and a property set is? You know what I mean by that? Raquel, do you know what I mean by a prop in a movie set? Prop?
Yes.
Means the background.
Yeah.
Okay, it means the outer layer of the movie. You're an extra in the movie. Now the reality is though, like for Ethan, you are a prop in Eric's movie when he's with the customer. Do you see that? Because you're in the background. So the reality is sometimes the customers are watching you. Sometimes the customers are watching the salesperson. Sometimes, you know, they're watching Raquel while they're with you. Maybe they're watching Wiley. So the important thing is about energy is, and about experiences, we all have to be aware that we're part of a big picture. And if one person has bad energy, it hurts the entire team. The whole team can't be successful unless we're all kind of in sync, right? And the movie that you watched, right, which was the storyline in this, and I played it for the salesman, and one of them. It's not a high blockbuster movie, but the message is just so cool. It's about a rowing movie, and there's these best rowers. There's the captain of the team. He wants to be at the front, and there's another guy that's third, and you know, one guy has a better score rowing individually than the other one. And what it all came down to, and they ended up winning the championship, but they kept losing and losing and losing because they were out of sync. The team could not win if everybody didn't row at the exact same way. And the only way you row the same way is if the entire team understands everything and does everything the same way. And that's kind of the message today. We have to be in sync on what our plan is and what our message is when we're talking to customers, because we won't be successful with customer experience if we're not. If, you know, Raquel has this vision, and Ryan has a different vision, and Sam has a different vision, and Wiley has a different vision, and they're not in sync, we're never ever going to improve our scores. We're never going to improve our experiences. And that's what I mean by team in sync. And the movie was just awesome because it kind of brought it down back to you saying that, you know, you don't have to have the fastest rowers. You You don't have to have the best individual people on the team. What you need for a team to be successful is everybody to be the same on what the thing is. And what they ended up doing is, remember, they blindfolded. So their lesson was they blindfolded everybody, and then they learned how to just be in rhythm. And then at the end of the competition, as they were doing it, they were actually getting behind, doing a real spoiler in this movie. But they blindfolded and then they ended up winning the race. So it was good. Okay, so I'm going to end with a little clip on, I think we talked a lot about customer experience. So intro, body, recap. The recap, what are some things maybe, what are some takeaways, Ryan, today? Okay, Raquel? Any takeaway?
Just myself, my overall demeanor sometimes I'm down, so I have to try and just keep that up. Sometimes it's hard.
Okay, thank you for acknowledging that, I appreciate that. Yourself? Takeaway?
I think just communication, transparency with customers, letting them know the truth of where we're at rather than trying to baffle them, yes.
Okay, I like it. Sandra?
Need a super spreader. Good energy.
Good energy?
In
Nice.
2022, a super spreader is a good thing.
I like it. Sam?
Just not just having a good time. Just really focus on managing customers' expectations and their emotions, right? If yeah, leave it at that.
Okay, Chris, takeaway from today? Empathy. Listening, making sure that the customer feels the empathy. That's the part of that managing the customer's emotions. Eric? Pleasantly surprised. Sometimes people think when I mean a surprise, it's like, hey, John, I gave them $400 worth of free service. You said a surprise. I said, well, that wasn't the surprise I was thinking about. But, you know, sometimes we have little giveaways. If you knew that maybe we didn't screw up, right?
I gave a customer 2 chairs today because
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, I feel bad that I have to charge you, and so here's 2. I brought another one for you.
Yeah, so that's a pleasantly surprised. Sometimes we have these extra things in parts. And Jordan and I talked too. I know you guys have been doing something, but that would be a pleasantly surprise. Sometimes it's a water bottle, maybe sometimes it's some extra giveaways that we have where it didn't go down as good as we thought. Here's a pleasantly surprise for you. We want your business. We appreciate you. Here's a little token, right? Yourself?
Just trying to get the customers to leave happier.
Okay.
It's a pleasant surprise, but just mainly
Yeah.
the main focus is
Yeah.
mine.
You have an
That's
unbelievable
so.
smile, buddy.
So.
I'm serious. It's hard not to smile back when you smile back. Wiley?
After when they came in is a good thing to remember for sure.
Absolutely. Jordan, any takeaways from today?
I think similar to last time, like obviously no customers like spending money, but customers will be okay spending money if you give them a good experience, right?
Right. Value proposition. You know, is it weighed out? They're spending this and they got, what did they get for it, right? Like that tomahawk. I was okay paying extra. Yourself?
I think managing customer emotions
Nice.
was a big takeaway for
Okay.
me.
Yourself?
Damage control.
Yeah. Ethan?
Executing on their wants and needs and just showing them that you're making an effort. Like
Okay.
that was the biggest thing I think tonight.
Good. Well, some great takeaways. This clip is just about being on a team. Like I said, I gave you the sort of the prelim on the movie. Well, this is a little clip on them not really working as a team.
Let me rephrase that. Everyone except Davenport, get out and swim to shore. Jake, how about you start it off? In you go. Oh, Jake, go. Oh, Jakey. Come on, buddy.
Good luck, buddy. Right behind you.
Come on. Come on, Jake. There you go. That's it. All right, everybody else. Count them over one. I don't see the point in this, Coach. Ben, I can still see you. Come on, Taylor. Okay, Davenport, row the boat back to shore. How? That's your problem. Brobeck, hurry up! I thought you said you could move faster alone. This is different. You're damn right it is. A lot more like real life. Okay, lesson over. Get out there and help Davenport. Bro, you are gonna learn something that can't be taught in a book or a classroom. Out on that river, you will learn how to be a team. I'm your new coach, Coach Murphy.
Must be the transfer. Okay, so final lesson. We all gotta be in sync, guys. We gotta be in sync on the plan. So let's really focus on giving our customers great energy, great experience, and these takeaways that we did today. Even if we've got just a little level up, it's gonna make a world of difference to their experience when they come in our stores. Okay? Thank you guys for all coming. I hope you got something out of it. Thank you.
Thanks.